Okay, here we are with chapter 13. Now, let's see. I really am anxious to break the symmetry and just get a little bit of a pose going on, but before I do that, I'm just going to take advantage of the symmetry and put a few more details on so I don't have to do it twice. Because if I bend these arms and move these arms, I'm going to have to add costume elements to these wrist guards two times. And I only want to do it once. So let's take advantage of this symmetry. And let's see here. Let's isolate the belt and the wrist guards. Let's start with the belt here. Now we've got 4 subdivisions. Let's divide it one more time. So we have 2 million points. That's a lot of geometry. That's going to be a good surface to sculpt on. All right, let's work on the belt. Let's hide the wrist things for now. And what I want to do is put a leather texture on here. So I'm going to go, I get my standard brush, I'm going to choose the freehand stroke, and I'm going to get alpha 56. This nice alpha right here that looks like elephant skin or rhinoceros skin. That's standard with Zbrush. And I'm going to draw it on. Now you see, I like the texture. You see that texture? It's pretty cool. But what I don't like is the bump. You see the bump? It bulges out the surface. I don't want that. So I can go over to the alpha and modify it. And this mid-value slider, I can slide that up to about 50-ish. And that'll kind of eliminate the bump or lessen the bump. Also, I could turn down the intensity. And I'm just kind of drawing on with a circular motion. And it's that easy just to make a nice leathery texture. Now, something else I want to do is you see these polygroups, I have 3 polygroups, red, blue, and green on the bottom, right? So what I'm about to do, I want to add like a rim of, just like a beaded roll of leather around the edges here, just as a detail, just a little, so it's just not a perfect cylinder, you know? So I can't do what I'm about to do with subdivisions. So let's duplicate this belt and get rid of the subdivisions on the duplicate. We'll work on the duplicate. I don't really need the high one. Let's get rid of the high ones and work on the low ones. Go to stroke, frame mesh, and frame mesh will throw that dotted line around the edges where the polygroups meet each other, right? So then I grab my curve tube snap brush, which is in Zbrush, comes by default, comes in Zbrush, and adjust my draw size, and I'm just going to tap on that, and that'll throw like just a ridge around the edge. That's a little big, so I'll take the draw size down, and that's a little small. But I could keep playing with this until I'm happy, so long as this dotted line is still active here. A little smaller. There we go. That looks good. Now to lock it in and get rid of the dotted line, I just tap off the dotted line. And there you go. There's my belt detail. Now I'll clear the mask and I'll isolate these loops, group visible, and I'm just going to delete hidden and get rid of that duplicate belt. Alright, so now my real belt that I had is up here. It's got 5 subdivs. I want to get these to have 5 subdivisions so I can merge them. So let's see. Divide, 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 divide. That's 1,000,000 points for just these 2 little tubes. That's a little bit much. So I'm going to go back and Z-remesh this down a little bit, if I can. Put symmetry back on, Z-remesher. Whoa. You know what? I think I forgot to delete the hidden. There it is, delete hidden. Now let's try that again. I went back too far. Okay, 3,000, let's try that. Divide, 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 divide. 700,000. But you see I have 5 subdivs, and on the belt I have 5 subdivs. If I merge those 2 down, hang on, I just want to color it first. If I merge those 2 down, I should retain those 5 subdivisions. So let's try that. Merge down. If I had no subdivisions on the rings and 5 subdivisions on the belt, and I try to merge those, I'd lose all 5 subdivisions. And I'd only have the high-res one. So there you go. Now there's your belt. Hey, I thought I colored that. Let's try that again. Blend, material, RGB, fill object. Okay. Documents. It should not save to documents. I want it to save to desktop. That's weird. Let's go to documents and get it out of there. Okay. So let's do the same thing with the gauntlets. But let's see, our gauntlets have no subdivisions. Oh, they do. They have 4, but they have no polygroups. So I could do the texture, but I won't be able to throw that loop around unless I have polygroups. Whoa. So let's grab one of these guys. Quick and easy way to make polygroups. Trim rectangle. I'll just slice off the top. Slice off the bottom. And now I have different color polygroups on this side, not on this side. So let's mirror and weld. And there you go. All right, so while I have no subdivisions anymore, let's do the rim around the edge there. Go to Stroke, Frame Mesh, Curve Tube Snap. Okay, that looks a little large. Let's go down just a little bit. Good. Tap off the line, clear the mask. going to split these rings off, split hidden, and make sure symmetry is on, and then I can put that leather texture on. Standard brush with this alpha, what is it, 56 I think? Yep, 56. Oh, I only have 141 points, so that's not enough to get a nice crisp texture. Crease polygroup, keep groups, Z-remesher, I want to get that up at least over 1 million. There we go. Increase the polygroups again. Divide, 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 divide. 2 million, very nice. So that's a quick, easy way to add some nice textures to your model. Okay, let's bring back the rings. Where are the rings? There they are. So I'm going to need 5 subdivisions on those as well. So divide, 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 divide. And let's merge those down. And that's my wrist guards made out of leather. Okay, let's take a look at what this looks like. I kept my polygroups, which is good. Let's rename wrist guards. Rename belt. And let's turn everything back on and see what we've got. Very good. There you go. A little bit better. Nicer detail. Save as Giant 41 to the desktop. Okay. Very good. Now let's add a little bit more detail there while we still have the symmetry. Let's append a sphere. Let's go with a lighter color. Scale it down. Okay, I'm going to isolate my wrist guards. Scale it down. And let's make it like an egg shape instead of a perfect circle. There we go. Duplicate. Whoops. sometimes this gizmo it's just not, it's not worth the effort. Sometimes it's easier to just grab a transpose chain and just move it by yourself without the gizmo. You have so much more control over the transpose chain. Okay, duplicate. And I'll just put like 4 of these studs on the gauntlet things, the wrist guard things. Okay, one more. Duplicate. Okay. Let's move this guy over opposite that guy. All right, now let's merge these 4 down. Merge down, merge down, merge down. Duplicate and mirror. Merge them all down. And we need to Z-remesh and get 5 subdivisions on there if we want to merge them to the wrist guard and retain those subdivisions. Okay. Do I have symmetry on? No. Let's do that again with symmetry on. Okay. Divide, 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 divide. Very nice. Let's bring these guards down. And before I merge them, I'm just going to go into the wrist guard with a Damien Standard brush and just kind of make it look a little bit like these studs are pushed into the leather somehow. These actually should be metal, these wrist guards. Instead of having a leather texture, they should be metal. But if they were going to be leather, they should have like straps or laces or something. But let's just leave it for now. You know what? I don't like that. I don't like that detail. So let's Z back and get rid of those. I think I may end up making the leather texture into like a smoother metal, or do what I did on the mace. And add that pebbly texture. In fact, why don't we try it? See, that's the beautiful thing about having subdivisions, is I can go down hang on, I just want to check something. some reason that one ring is a different poly group, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to go down a subdivision or two and just kind of smooth away that leather texture. I'll leave it on the belt, obviously, but I think I want to make these metal. So I'll grab my standard brush with that pebbly alpha 23, and whoa, I forgot to go back up on the subdivisions. I'm at level 3, so that's why it's not so crisp. So let's go up to 5. Uh-oh, traces of that leather is still there. When you go down and you smooth it, you got to smooth on all the subdivision levels, all the way up to the top. Now we'll go up to 5 and smooth a little bit more, and that should take care of it. I'm not going to see it once I cover it with the other texture. Okay, let's try it. See what we got. Hold down Alt. I think this makes much more sense that these are sort of like a metal bracelet type of thing. Okay. Maybe the rings have a little texture as well, but not so much. Let's try a different alpha on the rings. Be a smaller, pebbly texture. And I think we'll leave the studs, maybe they're jewels or something. We'll leave those smooth. Okay. So let's merge them down. Merge down. Okay, and there is our metal wrist guards. All right, I think that looks okay. Let's just rotate them a little bit. Like that. Okay, very good. Let's call it a day, a chapter. I'm going to probably do the same thing around the belt. I'm going to put these studs around the belt and maybe leave room for a buckle, some sort of creepy skull or something. Since he's a giant, maybe I'll have human skulls hanging from his belt, or a skull belt buckle or something like that. But let's save as Giant 42. And then we will come back with chapter 14. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next chapter.